476 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you are super excited for the Neon Dynasty Championship coming up this very weekend, or you're like, to heck with that, I'm excited about heading back to my local game store.
Oh, yeah.
For some, any Magic gaming action. Except for anything.
For any reason.
We are here for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And speaking of the Neon Dynasty Championship, we're getting you ready for that tournament coming up this weekend. Friday through Sunday, everybody.
Yep.
Twitch.tv/Magic if you want to watch Magic played at the highest level in Historic and Alchemy. Last week, we talked about Historic. This week, it's Alchemy.
Yes, we know that some of you aren't excited about Alchemy, but guess what? It's getting played this weekend. So we feel like we're obligated to give you a primer on maybe what's going to go on.
I mean, to be fair, it's slightly different than Standard.
It is slightly different from Standard.
And we'll get new Neon Dynasty Alchemy cards coming up like Check's Watch any minute now.
Yeah, pretty dang soon. So, hey, do you know what? We're going to talk Alchemy because Alchemy is the flavor of the moment. But before we do any of that, we have people whom it is important to thank.
Whomst.
Whomst it is important to thank, and first and foremost.
Those are the monks
First
of our
and
forefathers. The first monks. The foremonks.
First and foremost among them are you, the listeners and patrons of this show.
Yeah, thank you so much. You can become a patron just by heading over to patreon.com/GLHF Magic. It takes just a couple of minutes to sign up. You can become a patron for any dollar amount, even $1, and that gets you access to our Discord server. It's a way of saying, thank you. I want you to keep doing this podcast, putting out your videos, doing your extra stuff like box openings, like gameplay videos, like your board game channel. All of that is included on our Patreon.
Yes, everything we do, and it means so much to us when you take just a second and throw just a little bit of money, just like $1 a week, $5 a month, $1 a month.
Yeah.
Any amount of money really means so very much to us. Thank you as well to our sponsor, Card Kingdom. CardKingdom.com/GLHF is the perfect place to go for all of your Magic needs.
Yeah, we love Card Kingdom because not only can you get like a box of Neon Dynasty to draft with your friends or some collector boosties if you're feeling fancy, but you can also get proprietary Card Kingdom like made decks that they make themselves in-house for really low prices that are really fun to play.
Yeah, they're a really good time. They have them for Commander. They have them just for like battling your friends at the table.
They have them if you want to teach your friend Magic. They've got them based on colors. So if your friend's like, I want to play big monsters, you can get them the green one. It's like $5.
Pretty dang great. All right, Maria, let's kick it off with the Scryfall Randomizer.
Oh, great. We haven't done a randomizer on an episode for a little while, so I'm hankering for some randomness in my life.
Oh, this is one that we know.
Ooh, okay. Well, you say that, but then you're going to show it to me, and maybe I won't know.
Let's see what you see here.
Okay, yeah, I recognize this card art, but what is it?
Really great question.
Okay, so this what I'm looking at is looks like a Lazatep mummy from Amonkhet sucking the soul out of... Ooh, do we know who this person is?
I think we do.
Is this Ral Zarek getting soul sucked? Did he
think
die?
It is.
Okay, that's what I remember from the storyline. So this is from Battle for...
Or is it Dak?
Dak? Is this Dak Faden dying? Who died?
Someone died. It's one of them dying.
I don't see a red hand, so it can't be Dak.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah, so this is a story point, I'm pretty sure, from the big battle. And this is a kill spell, obviously, but I can't remember which one. It's black. It's like 5 mana. Kill your thing. That's the card.
It is black. The name of it is the Elder Spell.
Oh my gosh, the Elder Spell. That's right. Geez, was this like one that was like 2 black mana or something? You had to do something else?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, that's all I remember.
It is black for a sorcery. Destroy any number of target planeswalkers.
That's right.
Choose a planeswalker you control. Put 2 loyalty counters on it for each planeswalker destroyed this way.
So this is War of the Spark?
Yes, this is War of the Spark.
Okay, yeah, I remember this card. Did you ever, how many planeswalkers did you destroy with this spell?
So many.
I mean,
like 3.
Seriously, you could get like 5 with this.
Yeah, I remember there was like a version of Esper Control where you could just like have a Teferi out, do this, and then ultimate your Teferi. great.
Terrifying.
What else do you want?
What about the reanimation deck? I think this was played in that one.
This was also played in Command the Dreadhorde.
Yeah, Command the Dreadhorde.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a sweet deck, everybody. Ooh. I loved that deck.
That was a really good deck. I did.
That was
loved
a fun time. Okay, I'm gonna show you this one. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Take a look. What do you think that card is?
Okay. We are in what looks like a temple.
A toilet paper temple.
A toilet paper temple. It has been toilet papered. There's arches all around. There are like big white streamers hanging from the ceiling. And a guy is carving a giant orb with a bunch of symbols.
Okay, yes. Very good.
You know? It's
Accurate
very lovely.
Description. The name of this card is Moratorium Stone.
Oh, I'm going to say that this is white.
Okay.
This is going to be 1 in a white for an artifact. And it says, it's a classic, like, choose the name of a spell, choose a permanent. I'm going to say, okay, here we go. Choose a permanent your opponent controls. They can't cast spells with the same name as that permanent.
What a white ability.
What a white ability.
So the only problem I think with that is that this was before artifacts had color in them.
Oh.
This is from Guild Pact.
Okay.
Okay, so this is 1 colorless for an artifact, because you're right, it is an artifact.
Yeah.
2 tap, remove target card in a graveyard from the game. Nowadays, we say exile target card from a graveyard. I'll read the Oracle text. 2 white, black, tap, sacrifice Moratorium Stone, exile target non-land card from a graveyard, all other cards from graveyards with the same name as that card, and all permanents with that name. So you were like kind of right on the name thing.
I was right with the with it like targeting all of a thing.
Wow, that's so weird.
And I almost went white, black, but I went just white, so.
That's wild that you kind of got the feel of this card. You got the vibe, if you will.
Yeah, I do feel like I got the vibe of the card.
Of Moratorium Stone.
Correct.
I mean, it's a rare.
Yeah, sure. Guild Pact. What a time.
If you tell me it's a rare, I'll believe you.
All right, Maria, it is time to talk Alchemy.
Alchemy. Okay, before we talk about what the top decks are, what we expect coming up this weekend in the Neon Dynasty Championship, we're a little while into Alchemy now. I mean,
yeah, we are.
It's still the newest, hottest kid on the block.
Here's my question. Do people like it any more than they did?
I mean, yeah, that's the big question, because we've lived with it now for a few months. It's not even that old. Yeah. I said it's the newest, hottest kid on the block, but honestly, it's the newest, smallest, hottest toddler on the block.
Don't.
That's not what I mean.
I don't know that's the way you want to say it.
Most adorable toddler, or most ugly, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
Because what is this format?
Exactly. I feel like people are not about it.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
I felt like when Alchemy was announced, I was like, oh, this was a long time coming, right?
Yeah, and people will come around to it maybe.
Yeah, like Wizards
people have decidedly come around to it.
Wizards have probably been planning for this for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Because the way they design the game, they can't do a lot of stuff that other card games can do, like Hearthstone, can mess around with digital-only mechanics. And they can't do it, and they were probably feeling a little bit of FOMO, you know? We want digital-only mechanics. Well, now we have them. And I was excited. I was like, these are cool. The possibilities of things you can do with cards now are so expanded from what you would normally be able to do in a game of Magic. This seems fun. And we're going to rebalance stuff. The format's going to be shifting and changing. It's going to be wild. The public reaction, though, it just doesn't seem to have caught on.
No. I feel like it kind of flopped.
Why?
I think because people were mad about the historic.
For sure.
I think that had a huge role in it.
Yeah, for sure.
I do really wonder, like, what would this format have been like if that hadn't been part of it?
Yeah.
Would it have been enough to, like, completely turn things around?
I don't think so.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's a good point.
I don't know.
That's for sure a factor. Also, I want to put into the conversation the fact that the changes and rebalances haven't really been doing as much shaking up, I don't think, as Wizards would hope.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, I mean, we've seen tiny little shifts like Town Raids or Tyrant's been shifted now twice. Yeah. Third time incoming any day now.
Come on, make it a 4-3, baby.
But the first time around, they were like, we're going to rebalance cards to make the dungeon deck stronger.
Yeah.
Didn't help it. This time around, most recently, they've said, we're going to make changes to make the zombie deck stronger. Will that make a difference? Again, probably not. I mean, maybe it's too early to tell yet, but
I do still wonder. Fires of Invention. I keep saying it.
Yeah.
But.
I mean, that card was a real powerhouse back in the day before Alchemy and before Arena. So
yeah. Wait, Alchemy?
Was it?
No, it's not standard legal.
What? Fires of Invention? No.
Yeah. So it's not Alchemy legal.
No.
Okay, never mind.
Wait, you can't put it. Okay, here's another thing.
What's legal in this format?
This is another problem.
I don't really know what the parameters of Alchemy are.
It's everything in standard plus the weird stuff.
Okay, yeah.
The extras, right?
Okay, yes. That sounds correct.
Standard plus the extras.
Yeah.
But that is I'm not even kidding. Like that is a problem because we do a podcast about Magic and we're still like, wait, hold on a second.
Wait, yeah. I will, and I also just think that, right, like maybe like digital only cards are cool.
Yes.
I enjoy playing with them, but it does seem like it's true that it's not at the top of the list of things that I want.
Yeah. And why is that?
I don't know. It just seems like I'm excited when like a set has new mechanics, right? I love the mechanics that come with a set and seeing the way that they fit into this new world, the way they fit into a limited environment, the way that they can have standard build-arounds. And it's just kind of like, oh, you're sprinkling these things into the game, but I don't have without a reason.
Because you're not connected to them.
Exactly.
Through a set.
It's not like, oh, I'm going to focus on the strategy when I'm drafting or something like that. Yeah. I think that's part of it for me.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would agree with that and say that, there's no anchor to quote unquote reality, even though what is that?
Nothing
in
is
this
reality.
Day and age.
No.
What is that? But there's no anchor. There's no way to play it in paper.
Yeah.
Which maybe just psychologically is enough to disinterest
right?
people.
It's like not something people are just like, you would think, hey, we have a digital format. People will want some digital only mechanics because we can do that now. But it turns out like people are like, nah. Yeah. I just like Magic. I don't need it to be like a digital only. Yeah,
it's so interesting because honestly, this outcome is not what I think I would have guessed.
Yeah.
After the release of Alchemy. And, even if things get more shaken up with these rebalances, bans, unbans, whatever they're going to do, the addition of cards that are coming with the Neon Dynasty Alchemy release, still to me, that doesn't feel like enough because it's kind of complicated. I'm like, wait, what are you adding in? The decks change. If they're going to change so often because you hit the rebalances too hard, then it becomes a churn that's unsustainable.
I don't know.
Anyway. Alchemy.
A lot to
chew on.
To put together and pull apart.
My question is, will this format still be around in a year?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But right now it is being positioned, at least with this tournament, as one of the premier formats of Magic the Gathering. They've got to, right?
Right? Like, and if this tournament doesn't do it, at what point are you going to be like, we got to cut it loose?
Never mind, I guess. Yeah. I mean, they had to try.
As a person who I enjoy playing in the Alchemy queue.
Yeah.
It's a good time. I like the Werewolves deck. I have a good time playing it. It is, to me, more fun than standard.
Yeah.
I don't know,
But it kind of feels a little fake sometimes.
It does feel fake. All right. I don't know. Let's talk about these fake decks in a fake format.
Let's do it. Well, like we said, it is fun. I honestly do want to see what people are going to bring this weekend.
Yes, I have a good time playing it.
I want to know what the deal is. What are the best decks? What have the pros figured out? And maybe this will put an infusion into people's desire to play the format.
Yeah. So there's not a ton of Alchemy data out there.
No.
But there's a couple of things. One of the things I want to look at is, so last Sunday, there was the MTG Arena Zone Championship Series Set Championship Qualifier.
Great name.
A lot of words there, but .gg events. I'm just looking at this over on Melee. One of the most recent and the larger Alchemy events with, I want to say, 53 players.
Yeah, because we have not had a premier Alchemy event, people. It just has not existed.
Yeah.
This tournament this weekend is the first one other than these smaller tournaments.
And there's some names right here at the top that you notice that we're playing in this.
Oh, wow.
Simon Nielsen and
Tomosh Pokorny.
Yeah, exactly.
Tristan Wild LaRue. We know these names.
Yes.
As grinders.
Also, you'll notice that the top 5 are Naya Runes. Top 5 right at the gate. Naya Runes. Naya Runes, Naya Runes, Naya Runes, Naya Runes, Naya Runes.
We're going to talk about deck lists, and guess what number 1 on our list is?
Naya Runes.
Naya Runes.
It better be Naya Runes, otherwise we're not doing our job.
It's Naya Runes. This deck came about with Neon Dynasty. It's just like, boom, hey, here I am. I didn't exist before Neon Dynasty, which is always fun because we love when sets make new decks come to life, and involves playing a lot of runes, which also never saw any play in any kind of constructed format truly before this moment.
This is delightful. So you have Generous Visitor, which is green, single green for a 1/1 spirit. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. You have Kami of Transience, which also is a 2/2 for 1 and a green that gets a +1/+1 counter when you cast an enchantment. Jukai Naturalist, enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and Runeforged Champion, which is a 2/3 for 2 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library and or graveyard for a rune card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. You may pay 1 rather than pay the mana cost for rune spells you cast.
So Runeforged Champion and all these runes, Rune of Speed, Rune of Might, Rune of Sustenance, blah, 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 they all come from Kaldheim.
Yes.
So Kaldheim and Neon Dynasty are having a beautiful magical baby with this deck. My favorite part of it, besides the fact that this is putting pants on creatures and swinging for the fences, which of course I love, is that if you have Runeforged Champion and Jukai Naturalist out, guess how much your runes cost?
How much, Maria?
$0.
Amazing.
They're free!
You just throw them onto your creatures. I also just love, that it gets around. Like, you have Rune of Might, so you have Trample. You have Rune of Speed, so you just have Haste.
Yeah.
You can just be like, we're going to hit the ground running.
What do you need at any given moment? Toolbox. Find the rune you need for your situation.
Yes.
And then smash. This deck also plays Hallowed Haunting, which is just very stupid if that card is left in play. You can just make a bunch of spirits when you're playing your enchantments, and they get flying, and then vigilance when you have 6 or 7 of them. So that's just a dumb win con as well.
Just lots of stuff. Commune with Spirits, which will help you find enchantment cards. Showdown of the Skalds, just because everyone loves the Showdown of the Skalds.
Draw more cards. Find what you need.
Cards. This deck is a powerhouse right now. It just is.
I played against it in a standard event, actually, because you can play
it's also a standard
this
deck
in
right
standard.
Now.
And I was gobsmacked. I don't remember what I was playing, but I played. Somebody played this against me, and I was like, "Oh, haha, that's so cute! Look at them playing their Jukai Naturalist and then a rune. Oh, it's adorable."
Well, Maria, weren't you a fool?
I was a fool.
Weren't you a fool?
Because then 2 turns later, I was dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what?
Wow.
I was like,
2 turns. That's a long clock for them.
I was like, it's a fluke, right? This deck is obviously some weird brew. Wrong.
No, it is the hottest, the biggest, the smashiest deck right now.
I think this deck may be a problem.
Yeah.
I
would not be surprised to see it I would not be surprised to see it in the top 8.
Yeah.
With a lot of copies.
For sure. My question is it easy enough to beat, though, because you're just playing creatures and putting pants on them?
It has so much card draw, though. I would usually say yes, but all those runes, draw a card. Draw a card, draw a card, draw a card.
I'm still scared of control.
Draw a card, draw a card.
Keep in mind, you can put your runes on your lands if you're in a tough spot, everybody. Because you just put them on a permanent.
Exactly.
So it doesn't really matter.
Put them on a land, draw a card.
But
draw.
If I'm a runes player, I'm still going to be spooked.
Obviously, yes. You don't want to end up in a spot where you have no creatures and you're just like, okay,
twiddling your thumbs.
This is happening.
So that's my only caveat. Like somebody play a blue-white control deck or something, and they're like, haha, nice runes.
Well, Maria, in that tournament that I talked about where Naya Runes was 1 through 5, Izzet Control and Azorius Control were 6 and 7.
Oh, interesting.
Which kind of says like they definitely lost to Naya Runes.
Yeah, I mean,
into the top 4.
Yeah, Naya Runes can just be too fast for you, even if you're playing a nice control
and like
deck.
we said, like you could stabilize, but if they hit that Dwarven Champion, they go and get a Rune of Speed, and all of a sudden it's hasty.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right. Next up is one that I have loved playing for a while now, which is Gruul Werewolves. It's just a good time.
Just a classic meat and potatoes Magic the Gathering deck.
Just hit people, draw a card.
You know, this deck was fun, I think, because in Standard at the time, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was not a werewolves deck.
No, even though we had just done Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow, there weren't tribal decks. And it was so much fun to be like, guess what? You can have werewolves.
Like in Alchemy, werewolves exists.
Yeah.
So that was a really nice thing that the Alchemy format did for what was supposed to be a premier deck from, Innistrad and Midnight Hunt. It just never happened.
What I love about this is that it also has a lot of card draw.
Yeah,
which is why I like playing it. If you stick a Tovolar and you can just hit with things. If you have a werewolf pack leader and you attack with enough stuff. If you have a Rahilda and you hit with it.
I love Rahilda.
I know. There's just a lot that you can do here.
Yeah.
I love Ranger class. I've definitely won some games by putting it on its third chapter of it and just being like, okay, I can just cast stuff from the top of my library for a bit.
I love that this list in particular that we're looking at is running 2 copies of Thundering Raiju.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a new card from Neon Dynasty. Just a hasty 3/3, put counters on stuff.
Again, nice that haste is there to be like, I can get you out of nowhere.
Yeah, I do love this deck.
Yeah. That, and I think that one of the key cards for me in this is Reckless Stormseeker.
For sure.
This card is such a house.
Yes.
Makes itself hasty when it comes in if you want to, or make something else hasty on later turns.
Make something else big.
Really, really good.
And don't forget, we're playing a werewolves deck, so nighttime matters.
Yes.
So be afraid. Are you afraid of the dark? Is the question I have to ask you.
Be afraid of the dark.
I'm saving that joke in my head for this weekend.
Should be. All right, next up is Esper Clerics.
So far, all 3 of these decks we've talked about are so creature heavy.
They're very creature heavy, yeah.
Wow, Alchemy, home of the creature lovers. Very fun for somebody like
You're
yours
such
truly.
A creature lover. Maria, you have been a fan of this deck in the past. How do you feel about it now?
I think that this deck is good, but it's not as good as Naya Runes, so why are you playing it?
It's just not as good.
Yeah.
That is also how I feel.
So it's like, if the Naya Runes deck gets nerfed after this tournament or whatever, then we can talk about this deck again. But it's important to talk about it because it was so dominant for so long in the format.
Yeah.
Which is Naya Runes, Esper, I said Naya Runes, Esper Clerics. You're playing all of your clerics, obviously. Yep. You've got Cleric of Life's Bond, which is a black and white 2/2 that gets bigger when you gain life. And this deck is all about gaining life because
and it also gives you a way to gain life.
Yes, exactly. Righteous Valkyrie is a giant angel that comes in, once again gaining you life. And the life gain stuff just gets slowly out of control or quickly out of control. You have creatures like Voice of the Blessed, which gets indestructible once it's large enough and flying.
Yeah.
And it just is really, really tough to deal with. Cards like Glass Pool Mimic come in as a copy of various things that you might need at any time. And of course, Inquisitor Captain, which basically
did get nerfed a little.
Did get nerfed. Still in this deck, still good enough.
Yes.
Not entirely oppressive like it was before where you just couldn't win. If you played an Inquisitor Captain, then you copied it with Glass Pool Mimic, your opponent's like, hands up in air. What am I supposed to do? But still, deck is extremely strong.
I'll be honest, I haven't been impressed with it lately.
Just not good enough anymore.
I don't think that this would be a wise choice.
We're in Naya Runes. It's Naya Runes world, and we're just living
in
it.
Naya Runes world. Yeah. It's just, I'm just not impressed, right? And I'm looking at the 2 events that the other event was back on 2/19.
Okay.
There was a tournament with 93 players that was Alchemy, and there is a 5th place Esper Clerics here.
So this is a little bit before people were kind of getting on the Runes train.
But once this is before Runes hit, and once Runes hit, it's not in this other tournament. It's not here.
You know what's going to be so weird is if nobody figures out a way to beat Naya Runes.
Is it just going to be Naya Runes?
Is it just going to be top 8 of Naya Runes? The top 8 of this tournament is Alchemy, by the way.
It sure could be.
It's a possibility.
All right. Next up is Rakdos Midrange.
I love this deck.
Yeah.
It's a super fun mid-range deck to play that relies heavily on vampires.
It's of course got Townraiser Tyrant.
Get in the deck.
Yeah.
City Walker Connoisseur. I love this card.
Yep, this card is great.
Steal a card from your opponent, be a big 4/4 body.
Yeah. Of course, lots of removal, Igneous Inspiration, Shatter Skull Smashing, Thundering Rebuke, go blank to hit your opponent's graveyard.
Yeah, this deck is built around Bloodthirsty Adversary is the main engine.
This card is quite good.
I love this card. It's a hasty 2/2, and you can pay 2 in a red to get something back from your graveyard with CMC. $1 in the swear jar. Mana value 3 or less and cast it for free. However times you do, however many times you pay 3.
It's good early when it's hasty. It's good at 2, and it's like good at 5, and it's good at 8.
Oh, you're playing it on 5. You're playing it on 5.
I've had people play this on 2 though.
Oh, come on.
I know. There's cowards. I want to be clear that those people
they should wait.
Are cowards.
Yeah, and then you just flash back your spells, and you also have a hasty creature that gets +1/+1 counters on if you pay the 3.
Yeah.
That's the main showcase of that deck. Once again, not as good as Naya Runes.
We saw a little bit of this in the 219 tournament. There was a little bit of Rakdos mid-range.
Yeah, it's a super fun deck. It has lots of cool lines that you can find. If you like to be that kind of player that likes to find tricky things to do, you definitely can with that deck.
Yeah. All right. There's also kind of an Orzhov mid-range deck.
Yeah, this is if you're more along the lines of wanting to do, kind of like tricksy mean things and big splashy things in the format. And of course, this is a deck that's been kicking around for a while.
It's just Orzhov Mythics.
Orzhov Mythics.
Look, it has 3 copies of the Wandering Emperor. It has Sorin the Mirthless and Lilith Spider Queen.
Yep.
And Valky, God of Lies.
Great.
And Edgar Charmed Groom.
Great.
Liesa Forgotten Archangel. Okay, we get it. You can craft a lot of rares and mythics.
Do you have a lot of wild cards sitting around collecting dust in your collection?
Have we got the decker for you?
Here you go.
Of course, Meat Hook Massacre does need a home.
Yeah.
So
this is like the more controlling end of the spectrum. It's a very fun deck as well. Once again, not as good as Naya Runes.
Yeah. I want to take just a little look at this Is It Control deck that was in the top 8 of this tournament last weekend. Wow. It has Atsushi the Blazing Sky.
Interesting.
Lear, Disciple of the Drowned.
Okay.
Yeah. Burn Down the House. So this is like a classic Lear deck. Lear's still out there. Still a good card, even when it's only on your turn that you can flash things back.
Right.
The modified Divide by 0, again, not as good, but
good enough.
Good enough. Magma Opus.
Cool.
Love me a Magma Opus. Galvanic Iteration. Brittle Blast. Man, Brittle Blast is quite the removal spell, man.
A braid.
Yeah. So
this deck looks like it's targeting runes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's trying to, just remove all the creatures that you can put things on.
And then win with that Tsuchi or Lear.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this person has the right idea if they were playing in the Neon Dynasty Champs.
But also, they did lose at some point. Like, they lost in the top 8.
They lost enough,
runes.
yeah.
There's also an Azorius control deck in here that I want to look at. Obviously, it's got Hullbreaker Horror. I like that it has the Wandering Emperor here.
The Wandering Emperor is just a good stinking card.
It's a good card. Flash. Like, they made their attacks, and you can just be like, well, I'll have this. I know that I'll have this on another turn because
flash it in. Exile something that's tapped.
Ooh, yeah, real nice. Doomscar, of course.
Divine Purge. This is a classic blue-white control list, and once again, probably targeting the Runes players.
Yeah. So, I like it, but again,
didn't win.
It didn't win.
It did,
in fact, lose to Runes.
Did it win?
So, can it beat Runes? Wow, can anything?
I don't know.
That's the question.
I'm very excited to find out.
As we head into this tournament, that is the question of the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
But also, Maria,
what?
We're asking the same question in Alchemy that's being asked in Standard. So why Alchemy? Why is Alchemy?
I mean,
if you're asking the same questions,
I don't know.
Because in theory, I guess because in theory they can.
In theory, they were supposed to be different.
They can nerf something sooner.
Yes.
But why not just nerf something in Standard? I don't know. And get it done with.
I don't know.
Because at this point, I think that you might be potentially heading to a place where you're going to have to do it in both formats.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it just looks really weird.
Yeah. So.
And, we didn't see anything that we're not talking about the Dungeons deck, I'll tell you that.
No, I wish we were.
I mean, I put a Dungeons deck on our list because I wanted to say, whoever made this, you're trying.
You're trying. And we really appreciate you for trying. We appreciate you.
And, Wizards wanted to make this a deck, but it just wasn't.
No. Oh, it's so cool, too.
What are you looking at?
I'm just looking at the Dungeons deck in general. I do love these cards.
I mean, they're super fun. Venturing into the dungeon is super fun.
Yes, exactly. It's great. It's a good time. Triumphant Adventurer. Yes, get it done. You on Team Alisson, get it done. But it's just not enough.
Turbo Venture, not good enough, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But honestly, who could have seen the Runes deck coming? I'm not kidding when I say that.
I wonder. I would be fascinated to know if the Future League saw it.
Oh gosh, I wouldn't think so. I would be like,
what are you
doing in here with that thing?
They regularly talk. I mean, right? Do you think that they found it and dismissed it?
Well, I mean, maybe.
That's what you think.
That could be. That could be. Maybe they found it. I would imagine. Well,
maybe they found it and they were like, maybe people will find this, but maybe not, because they talk about that sometimes when a standard format is done. They'll be like, oh, hey, here's stuff that we found.
I would think they would talk about it in call
not
time.
To see.
But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Wow.
There are certainly some issues here that we're dealing with, that we're working through.
Yeah.
With Alchemy. Very interested again to see what decks the players submit. Decklists will be live on Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
So you can take a look at what's going on with Alchemy and with Historic. I just don't know what's going to happen. Are people going to be able to beat this deck when rubber hits the road this weekend?
Yeah. So Maria, here's my question.
Yeah.
In the Alchemy format,
yes,
what percentage do you think of the metagame for Naya Runes? What is the percentage of the metagame?
Oh my gosh. Okay, what's normally the highest? What percentage do we see? Something like 30 to 40%?
Yeah, I would say, right, that's when it's really pretty dominant.
All right. This metagame in Alchemy will contain 55% Naya Runes.
I'll go slightly more conservative. I'm going to go with 44.
Okay.
My
great.
guess is 44%.
Oof.
Yeah. What's your pick for, what about Historic? What's your pick for Breakout Historic?
We talked about this last week. I thought it was going to be Is It Phoenix?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. We did say that. I don't remember which one I picked. I'm sure I was right.
Okay, well, we'll find out.
I think I picked whatever the second most popular deck was.
Yeah, I think so. I think you did.
Oh, well. Yeah. I'm really excited. Okay, how many Naya Runes decks do you think will be in the top 8?
5.
Ooh, here I'll go more aggro than you. I'll pick 6.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And regardless, it is kind of fun to watch the Naya Runes deck.
I mean, it goes off.
In the mirror, I don't think it's going to be an annoying mirror.
Well,
it'll be funny.
I think the mirror will be like...
It'll be humorous.
It will be humorous. It might give you Golgari Food flashbacks. Oh, Golgari Food is what I picked for
Yes, that's what
Historic.
you picked. That's what you picked.
And it might give you Golgari Food flashbacks as they start getting the lifelink rune and slapping it on things.
So not only are we thinking about Alchemy and historic for this tournament, another huge question we're going to ask is will the Japanese players be entirely dominant?
Yeah, the way that they were last time. I actually just had an article come out last week about this on Wednesday called On Top of the World Again, which is about how back in 2005, Japanese players won the World Championship, the Team World Championship, and Player of the Year.
Jeez!
I know, right? And how that kind of reflects their most recent dominance at the top of the game, with taking home the World Championship and then putting all those players into 4 players on the same team and then 1 on a different team.
Jeez.
Or 1 working independently.
Yeah.
Into the top 8, which is just absurd. And I think that at this point, if they are still testing together, which as far as I know that they are, it is essentially like a super team.
Absolutely it is.
And I think that they might land on just bringing the best decks. They certainly did with Golgari Food at the Innistrad Championship.
Yep, they nailed both the best decks in both formats last time. See if they do it again this time.
I certainly feel like they could do it this time, and they all are excellent players, right? You have just tons of really good players who have been playing a long time.
Yeah, it's super cool to follow this story too as the tournament develops this weekend. You can check it out starting on the 11th at 9 a.m. Pacific, I should say, on twitch.tv/magic. Hope to see you there in the chat, hanging out, watching some games of some digital cardboard.
Oh, yeah.
And just kicking back with your pizza rolls.
Maria cannot stop thinking about Pizza Rolls. Just call her Maria Pizza Rolls Bartholdi.
I mean, I did legally change my middle name.
It is time to crack open and none other than this beautiful collector booster.
I'm so excited.
Of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. And do a little Flavor Text Theater movie pitches.
Yay! Movie pitches. Yeah. Megan's going to crack this open.
All right.
We're going to make movie pitches for movies or TV shows based on the name or art of the card on the spot. Everybody. Hopefully Paramount is listening. I don't know why I picked Paramount. I don't care what movie studio you are.
What movie studios even still exist is my real question.
Yeah, now it's like, Netflix, are you listening?
Netflix? I feel like that
Call
is
me?
your best. Okay, I can't open this.
Peacock?
If I'm being honest.
Get on the phone. Maybe the collector boosters.
Can you go get a pair of scissors?
They seal it really well.
Okay, wait, here we go.
Okay.
Never mind. I feel like they do. They're like,
these cards
aren't going to break out of their own accord in here.
That would be very creepy and weird.
Ooh, here, okay, the first thing out is a beautiful
Look at this
token.
foil samurai token, everyone.
Oh, we have also a gorgeous foil Life of Toshiro Umezawa.
On the back, this is a construct.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Oh. So two gorgeous things. All right, the rest of these we cannot see yet.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm so excited. Oh, I am because I had a planes, a foil planes.
My God.
Look at that.
It's gorgeous.
This is beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Oh my God. Wow, this is also my favorite of the two planes arts.
Okay.
I'm just gonna stare at it.
So this is the story of
all about how my life got flipped turned upside down.
This is a story about a kid who is we'll say at the start of the story, he's in like middle school.
Okay.
And he does really, really well in class. Like all of his classes to the point where he's like always on the honor roll. And is always getting like called on in class, even though he doesn't really put his hand up that much. And then this proceeds like through high school to the point where he goes like to the science fair and gets like great awards at the science fair. And then he eventually, like, he goes to university. Same thing happens, like always top of his classes, but he finds it really, really exhausting to like always be kind of held up as this like shining example of like, this is like a perfect
I never
student.
asked to be the perfect student.
Exactly. And so he leaves his town and he's like, I need to like peace out of here. Just go
somewhere no one will know me.
Exactly. Leaves, goes to the big city and just, like has an adventure of living his life there. But despite his best attempts, he always gets like somehow recognized by people for just doing.
Aren't you that smart kid who got all A's in
like
eighth
just
grade?
doing small things on the like he'll just be like helpful to someone on the street, and then like other people will be like, look at that. He's like, I don't want to be an example, and so he finally goes and he lives in a tiny hut by himself, where he is just an example for himself of how to be great without having to be held up for other people in Aiganjo exemplar. And some really strong Goodwill Hunting vibes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, my film is it's a true crime documentary. Or it's an episode of the X-Files. You choose. I'm gonna go with an episode of the X-Files. We're rebooting it, everybody.
Okay.
So what's happening is Mulder and Scully are investigating because all these people are dying. A serial killer is on the loose, and the police are like, you got to help us out, FBI, because we have no idea how the serial killer could be killing, because the people that are killed are in places where a person could not possibly get in.
Yeah.
Like there's no way, like somebody dies in a prison cell, right? Somebody dies in a locked car, etc.
Wow, spooky!
And they're all dying the same way with 2 small stab wounds.
Okay.
So, of course, they're like, oh, well, this is paranormal. We have to investigate. And what they quickly figure out, it's not 2 stab wounds. It's 2 fang marks. So they're being bitten. And so, of course, they jump to vampires. But no, it's impossible. Vampire could not fit inside of that prison cell or that locked car or any of these small, tiny places where these people are.
Uh-huh.
They soon find out it's not a vampire, not a person who is a serial killer. It is, in fact, a snake.
Of course it is.
Who is able to get in through the tailpipe of the car.
The first snake serial killer.
In coiling stalker.
Great. I love it.
I'm pretty sure that's already an X-Files episode.
You know, quite possibly.
But it's not a snake. It's just a guy who can get in through vents and stuff.
Yeah. Also, I love that. It's the border. It's gorgeous.
Pretty.
Okay. So this is the story of a band, like just like a garage band that's trying to make it big, but they can't get, like, their sound is just not unique enough, and that's what they keep getting told. Like, they get tons of regular.
You're good, but your sound is the same as everyone else.
That's what exactly. Like, everyone who like considers signing them is just kind of like, I get it, people like you, but like it's just not unique enough. It's not big enough, and so they're like, what are we gonna do? And then all of a sudden, they're just like, they start going to they'll go to a show and they'll do a show, but there will be no drummer behind the drum kit. And they're playing, and there's the sound of someone playing drums. But there's no one on the drums. And so, of course, they become like a sensation of just like, how is this band doing? Like, look at the invisible drums player in here.
This is some Milli Vanilli kind of stuff going on here.
And then they like do a whole investigation. They're like, what happened to the drum player? And then everyone's like, we don't know. The drum player disappeared.
Oh no! Now this is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, it really is. The drum player disappeared, and they become super famous. And they're like on the cover of Rolling Stone, and they have a great career. No one ever finds out the mystery until finally one day the band disbands, and they like for charity they sell off all of their instruments, and then whoever buys the drums buys them, and then they cut them open, and they realize the drum player was inside the big drum the whole time, playing from inside the drums by yelling.
Oh my God!
And drum bellower.
They are inside the drums.
He was inside the drums.
The call is coming
time.
from inside the drums. The dumbest mystery.
It's really dumb. It's really dumb.
Okay, this film is an Oscar bait.
Great.
It's very slow, very kind of, you could call it boring if you were being honest. And it's about a war tribe back in the day, and they're very talented. They win almost every battle. They're expanding. They're taking over territory. You know, they're probably committing war crimes, even though those don't exist back then. And they're so dominant in battle because of one person in their society, who's an old woman, and she is like revered by everybody. You know, she gets whatever she wants, but she's kept very guarded because the society doesn't want anything to happen to her. She must be kept pure because she is the person who, before the soldiers go into battle, does a special blessing on all of their swords so that they can win. And they do win. Like, she's legit. Okay. She is legitimately helping these people win through her mystical powers. And she's pretty sad because they keep her trapped in wherever she is. And she, you know, she thinks she's getting everything she wants, but she's kept separate from society. She's locked away. And eventually, you know, she starts to take confidence in one of these generals who, I guess, just comes and sees her, and they have very boring Oscar talks about, you know, life and what does it all mean, and taking all this land and territory.
Very boring Oscar talk.
And like, should we be doing this? Is this right? Yes, we're victorious. And they conceive a plan wherein she will not bless the blades, but it will look like she has for the army, and they will suffer a horrifying defeat. But in doing so, the general has sealed his own fate because he knows he'll die along with all of his company.
No!
But they will stop the horrible advance that they have been, you know, creating across the country. And that's what happens in the end. The whole army dies.
Really sad.
And she's sad because her general friend sacrificed himself for the good of the biodiversity of the human race.
Okay.
Or whatever. And she commits suicide.
A halt to imperialism.
A halt to imperialism.
Worth paying for.
She kills herself at the end of the movie too.
Wow.
Because she doesn't want the knowledge in her mind.
Oscar bait.
To like go on to the next generation, right? In Nezumi, Blade Blesser.
Wow.
I just said this was a boring Oscar movie, but now I'm like, I think I made a real movie. I think this could exist.
Yeah. Okay, this is like a classic, you know, like a theater people make a movie about theater because they love it. And in this, there's like a very old actor and director who was like used to be the star of this theater, right? It's like a big old, you know, like gorgeous theater.
Yeah. I love it.
The building. Very Phantom of the Opera vibes, right? He was at this theater. He was the star, but now he is aged out of it. But because he would never let go, now there are no shows at this theater, right? He was like, rather than have someone come and replace
if
me.
I can't be the star.
Exactly. No one will be the star. So this place is just going to be old and like shuttered. And so he like, as he lives in this theater that is now decrepit and old and like abandoned, he realizes he starts hearing things following him. And then he'll turn around and it'll just be like regular items that he felt like he didn't leave there, right? It'll be like costuming that he was like, that stuff wasn't there, that rack wasn't there, like those props weren't over there. But it's sure enough, they're always all drawing closer and closer to him. And he realizes that they're all kind of like slowly assembling to look more human until all of the anime costumes and props become like stand-ins for people. And he's like, we're going to do a show like this, last show.
Yes.
And so he opens the theater and he produces a play where instead of having people in it, it's all of these like these costumes and props that have assembled and animated themselves.
Excellent.
But at the end, they're all really creepy. So obviously they probably murder him.
Yeah, probably.
In dramatist's puppet. Because they're all kind of like puppets.
Yes.
And that they're empty, but...
Great. This film is set, in a world where it's very primitive. It's fantasy, and people don't have a lot of stuff. They're poor. They're struggling. They're like, well, that's just how life is. In the society in which we live. And there is a ruler who rules over the land and one day has a contest and says, whoever can come up with the best new invention, some kind of technology using the primitive sort of tools we have on this world, you'll win like $1 million and you can be my new best friend in the empire, essentially.
Yeah.
And so the main character is a young kid who figures something out and invents this great thing and goes to the temple where everybody is showing off their awesome inventions. And the leader's like, yes, these are all great. But of course, the leader just takes all the inventions for themselves and like puts everybody else in the dungeon. It turns out the leader has been doing this generations for generations.
And that's why there's no technology?
That's why there's no technology.
Wow.
That's why there's been no progress. And then this leader sitting there in their giant castle surrounded by lots of cool tech and stuff that they have stolen from the entrance to this contest over the eons in Ginja Taxis. Progress Tyrant!
Wow.
Yes.
Very cool.
Isn't that so cool, everybody?
Yes.
It looks beautiful. It's not the Phyrexian one, but I don't care.
No, foil.
He's a foily boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like kind of a reboot of what's the movie that I'm thinking of that has oh my goodness. Now I'm blanking on literally everything about this film.
What's the movie that has people in it?
Yes. Okay. I'm going to say Julia Roberts is in it, but this is before she was super famous. And then there's Kevin Bacon. It has Julia Roberts and Kevin Bacon. And it's like the one where all like the scientist kids in university like kill themselves and then like have them bring them back to life so that they can experience death, but then death come and murder them.
Yeah.
What's the movie that I'm thinking of? What's it called?
I mean, I know what you're thinking of. I don't know what it's called though.
Okay, I don't remember the name of the movie. I did watch it not too long ago. This is like a reboot of that, except these students live in a world where they know, right? Like whoever survived that. I think Kevin Bacon and Julia Roberts both survived.
Probably.
They're professors at a university. And so they know, they're kind of like whispered about, like, oh, they used to do these experiments, right? Like
they used to kill themselves and come back to life.
Yeah, they would like
have you
kill
heard?
themselves and then, like themselves back. And a bunch of them died. And one of the kids, of course, is like the bad kid who's like, we should do it again.
Yeah.
Like like the bad boy is like, we're gonna do it again. And they're like, wait a second, instead of doing like they already did that, we don't want to just die and see what happens. We want to go to heaven if there is one. And they're like, the way to do that is like we obviously have to ascend somehow. So we're gonna try and do a bunch of wild drugs to make that happen.
I mean, you don't need to kill yourself for all this to occur.
Exactly. What if instead you just did a bunch of drugs in order to get it to happen?
Sure.
And so they sure try, and it turns out that like for one of them it does work, but then. And this is also one of those movies that's like,
wait. Does it just work in their head, or is it like literally?
Maria, it literally works.
Whoa.
This is real Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. We're going to not Temple of Doom, The Last Crusade. We're going to confirm that like Jesus was real or whatever in the Indiana Jones universe, right? They're just like, heaven is real. They go to it. But then when they come back down, it turns out that like the archangels are like, real mad that they did this.
Shortcutted it.
Exactly. So instead of being like spooky nightmare things that, kill them and drag them away, it's like really spooky angels that come down.
Cool. Like with 10
and,
eyes.
Torment them. Yeah. The real, yes.
The biblically accurate angels.
Scary angels.
Great.
In awakened awareness.
Well, let's call that a day on Flavor Text Theatre. I'm going to flip the rest of these up. Oh, we also got a foil coiling stalker.
Yeah, we also have a full art Ottawara Soaring City.
Check that
Gorgeous.
out.
Ooh, we have this like amazing Setsuki the Living Lore alternate art.
Oh, that looks like the neon ink treatment.
Oh yeah, it is. It's like what are they called?
Soft glow frame. Sorry. Yeah, it's a soft glow treatment.
Yes.
Look at that. I've never seen this.
Soft glow. And this one is Invoke Despair in the soft glow.
Oh, they're so pretty.
Yeah. Really gorgeous.
Satsuki the Living Lore. This is
Satsuki?
Satsuki the Living Lore. This
gorgeous.
Is really pretty. I hadn't seen this before.
This Invoke Despair is also really pretty.
Oh man.
Really gorgeous.
Yes.
All right, we've opened these gorgeous cards, and we need somewhere safe to put them, and we've got a gorgeous place to put them.
Yes, we do.
Thank you to our sponsor, Ultra Pro. We've mentioned these before, but we've got a couple here of the fine art deck boxes, which are just so cool.
I've got a Starry Night one here in my hands.
They are gorgeous.
Look at that. It is so beautiful. And these, I'm opening it. These magnets are no joke, everybody.
Yeah, they really are no joke.
Just in case you're wondering, like, and on the inside of the Starry Night one, you can see there is an embossed treatment of.
Oh, it's so cool.
Of spirals that are like the painting, and it says Vincent.
Oh,
so
now I
want
to know what these little ones are. And then, like, right, we've got Death Dealer, we've got the Great Wave,
and this Amy Brown piece.
Oh yeah, amazing
with the fairies on it, which is so pretty.
So just really, really gorgeous boxes. So if you're looking for something that you can like take to your, now that you can go back to your LGS.
Yes.
And just have a gorgeous deck box to pull out and have your deck in it. And you can get matching sleeves.
Yes, they have matching sleeves for these as well.
Which is amazing. So yeah, Ultra Pro. We really love having them as a sponsor because they're just such lovely people. And they're always like pushing the boundaries of what cool thing can we make next.
Hey, if you want to get any of these, go to Ultra Pro's website. There's a link in our show notes and use the code GLHF at checkout to get 5% off your order.
Whoa.
So, if you're going to buy some of these, which, I mean, why wouldn't you? I love the Starry Night one. I'm partial to it. But whatever one you love, use our code to save some cash.
Yeah, man. We're heading into the Neon Dynasty Championships this weekend. Let's go.
I'm so excited for them. I know we talked about how Alchemy's kind of in a weird place right now and all of that, but I'm still so excited to see who's going to take this tournament down. I love seeing players at the highest level.
There's lots of great players. There's players that we're such big fans of.
Absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to again seeing like Yuta Takahashi and all of those members of the super team out of Japan who just have absolutely
Can they do it again?
Everything.
It's huge.
But then also some of our new members of like the MPL, like Chris Patello.
Yes.
So excited to see those people play.
I know. And we have a lot of money on the line, almost $500,000.
Yes. For a second, I thought that you meant that you and I had personally placed a lot of bets.
You and I
was like, Maria, you didn't
close
tell
to
me
$500,000 on this tournament, Megan. It's going to mean a lot.
Maria, I wish you had told me before. Before now, I wish I knew who we had bet on.
Well, we'll find out, I suppose. I'm super, super excited. Alchemy, first time on the big stage. Maybe it'll be all Naya Runes. Maybe it won't. Yeah. We just don't know until this weekend. So we hope you join us. It's going to be a really fun time regardless. If you became a new patron, by the way, we'll get your names out on the next episode if we didn't say them this episode.
Yes, so we recorded this episode early.
Yeah, so you'll be there next time. Don't worry.
Or if you become a patron right now, we'll read your name next week.
Yes.
So go do it. Patreon.com/GLHFmagic. It just means the world to us.
Yeah, we'd love to see you there, everybody. Check out our sponsors, Card Kingdom, Ultra Pro. The code for Ultra Pro to get 5% off is GLHF. If you say GLHF for Card Kingdom, they'll give you a sticker or a token with your order.
Yes.
So you're getting all sorts of extra goodies for supporting people who support us. And we'd love to have you as a member of our Patreon family as well. Next week we'll talk about the championship and other exciting stuff that's on the horizon for Magic, because Streets of New Capenna will be here any second.
That's how time flies.
That's how time flies. Only in one direction.
Only
for now.